Hi creative friends, this is Freya and thank you so much for being here. So I have a beautiful bright day outside today, so I am so glad because now I have a window right in front of me. You can't see it, but it puts light onto my studio desk. And when I did this video and posted it this morning, you couldn't really, the lighting was really bad, so you couldn't really see what was going on. But now that the lighting is so good, I'm just gonna bring this up closer here, and I am just so loving this, you guys. And that's what I mean about a strong composition that is made even more interesting and stronger by putting collage. So I made a video series about composition. I don't know if it was a series, but I made quite a few composition related videos. And I think what I did is I just did the composition, but I didn't do the composition with the collage. And when you combine two or more art elements together, all it does is it makes it that much more of a firmer foundation. It just adds so much to it. And honestly, you guys, I think I could leave this like this and not do anything else to it, and I would be really pleased with it because it's so interesting to me. And I love the cross composition. Like I might just add like some writing over here and over here so that the cross was like clearly visible, and it would just be a beautiful abstract painting. And then anything else I do over top of it, like if I was going to do a still life, I would probably turn it either this way or this way. I would probably turn it this way because I would like make this into a tabletop, and then I would put like my stuff on the table. Or if I was going to do a portrait, you know, I would just try to like figure out, you can do a landscape over top of this, but as an abstract, it holds. It's just so visually compelling to me. So anyways, I am going to get back to this, but I thought this would be a great time to talk about the studio log because I can kind of relate it to this, and I can go more into detail about what a studio log is and how I use it. Now, I just want to preface this by saying that there is no right or wrong way. This is all like 100% individual to the person you are, the way you work, you know, what appeals to you. And the most important thing, I think, is to just do it in a way that's going to get you to your studio log. Now, is this not a delicious studio log? This is Connie Solera's art, and I actually won this in my first day when I was at the retreat. Connie was doing something, and there were like 10 or 12 of us at the retreat, and she gave out a couple of gifts, and I just you know, it was just kind of like a luck thing. I didn't have to do anything for it, but I got this studio log and it is so beautiful. But this is the way Connie formatted the studio log. So they're just blank pages, there's no lines or whatever. So if you wanted to write in it, if you wanted to draw in it, and I have written in it, and I, you know, it's kind of like I love working like this, but for me, honestly, you guys, I'm more of a writer, so I tend to go for just regular like journals like this, or even where are my, I think I had them in here, just actually just like paper like this, just lined paper. I'm just like I like lines and I like writing. Yeah, so I just tend to kind of use more of a book like this, but there is no right or wrong. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to talk to you a little bit about my process. But before I do that, I just want to tell you that, you know, it depends on not only the way you are, your personality, etc., but like the medium you're working in. And a long time ago, like after I came back from Oaxaca, so this was about 10 years ago, I started using a studio log, but I also became very interested in how other artists kind of document their process. And I came across this lady who was a ceramic artist. And what she did is she had a studio log, and I really wish I knew where I had read about it. It was probably a magazine, but so what she did is, for instance, I'm just gonna kind of explain it like this. So, you know, this was her studio log, and what she would do is she would take a photograph of her piece. So she made a, you know, so she would make a pot, for instance, and then she'd take a photograph of it, and then she would get that photograph printed and put the photograph over here. And then she would, like, you know, like label it. So, you know, piece number 299, for instance. And then she would like write in great detail, you guys, like, you know, the exact process, the glaze, the colors, like everything. Like it was literally like 3 or 4 pages of just like very almost like scientific notes. And that, to her, if I recall correctly, because I read it in a magazine, that made her feel like a sense of like peace and calm, because like when she, you know, went on like 6 months in the future, and then, you know, she's making another pot, and she goes, oh, I really like that, you know, that glaze, or I really like that whatever. She could go back to her notes and she could go, oh, this is exactly what I did to get that, and this is, you know, now that would work for her medium, for her personality. Like for me, that would break my brain. I would never consider doing that. Like to me, that would be so upsetting to my nervous system. I could not do that, and I would not even think about doing that. But my point is that, you know, it worked for her, and she had like all of these like very highly detailed books, and it was her documenting her process, and it helped her in her work, it helped her in her future works that she was going to create, and it helped her because I think I remember her saying like it calmed her down. It made her like, oh, I don't have to worry about this, I don't have to remember this, because if ever I want to know XYZ, I can come back and look at it. So that worked for her, and you know, that was her process. Now my process is completely different, you guys, and it has evolved. So I'm just going to give you some kind of like ideas, but like I said, you would have to kind of modify it to see what suited you, and where it can apply, I'm going to kind of like, you know, like draw it into here, just because I kind of learned that way, and I think, you know, maybe other people learned that way too. So I'm not just going to read stuff, but I'm going to go, hey, like, you know, oh, and then I'll kind of relate it to this piece over here. And I am going to make more videos where I do go in over top of this and I paint over top of this. But for this particular video, and this might be one video, or I might break it into two, I don't know. But this video is going to be about studio logs and how we can use studio logs, how it can strengthen your visual language, etc., etc. So one of the things when I was in Oaxaca, and I have mentioned this before, is that I, like everybody else there, we were complaining, or not complaining, but we were talking about, you know, oh my God, I don't have a strong visual language, and what should I do? And oh, la, 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 la. And, you know, Connie has a very strong visual language. So when I left Oaxaca and I started implementing my studio log, I actually have learned a lot from it about me, about my process, and I also have strengthened my visual language. So it has been very helpful. And now since I've been doing my healing ancestral trauma art journal, I have been using my visual language. I have been using my studio log in a whole different way, and it has strengthened my visual language in a way that is more kind of related to archetypal psychology and all of that. So it's gonna, you know, change. Like the way you use your studio log today might be different than the way you use it, you know, 6 months from now, etc. So some of the like things that, like, these are some of the questions that I would ask myself. Okay, so what does this painting, color, line, you can insert whatever word you want, tell me? So like going here, like I would say, okay, well, what does this curve over here, you know, what does this tell me? And then I would write about it. Now, this is all going to be very subjective. It's going to be very, you know, specific to you as a person. Like maybe this curve over here is going to remind somebody of something good, or something, you know, about from their childhood or whatever. And then to another person, it might be like, oh my God, I don't like that. You know, so these are some questions you can ask yourself. What do I already know that I haven't noticed or paid attention to yet? Now, I find that this question is a very interesting and important because sometimes things are hiding in plain sight. And so when you ask yourself that question, like for instance, I'm gonna relate it to this. So basically what happened is I was doing a cross composition. This started off as a, oh, I'm just doing a cross composition and I'm exploring composition. But then however many pages into the book, I noticed, let me see if I can find it. I noticed that one of the body shapes looked like a coffin, you guys. Like, it was so jarring to me. Let me see if I can find it. I don't want to go through the whole book, but this has a lot of pages. Now, I don't know if it was this. See, that I don't normally draw my bodies like this. This is not how I would draw my bodies, but I don't know if it was this particular page or if it was another page, but I noticed like, hey, this looks like a coffin to me. And then I started journaling about it and I started linking like, hey, this is a healing ancestral trauma art journal. So sometimes things are hiding. And when we ask ourselves this question, we can like, it can work on our subconscious mind. It may not, the answer may not come to you right away, but it comes to me like eventually. And I like at doing my studio log sometimes before I go to sleep, and I'll ask myself these questions. And then when I wake up, it's like my subconscious mind works on it while I'm sleeping. Okay, if I had to leave this as is, would it be complete? So that's a good question to ask. Like, if I had to leave this as is, would it be complete? Yeah. Well, it might not be 100% complete. Like I said, I might add some text here, but yeah, it would mostly be complete. That's a good question to ask. What is essential and what is excess? Now, this is a good question to ask when we're trying to get to the foundation of something, and we don't want to put like too much stuff on. What can't I let go of? But I need to let go of it. Now, this is the one I think so many of us struggle with because especially in mixed media, we have to cover up things that we don't want to cover up. Like sometimes in order for the whole piece to work, you have to cover up things that, you know, it's just not going to work with the entire piece. Like if everything is a star, then nothing is the star. So sometimes we just have to let go of things we don't want to let go of. And that's a great question to ask. So where am I tight? Where am I loose? Now, like I said, these are very specific to me personally because there are people who want to work tight. They have these very highly mechanical, like when I say mechanical, I don't mean in a negative way, like a machine. I don't mean like that, but mechanical, I'm talking about, you know, like say they're drawing a building, like an architectural drawing, like a sketch. I've seen the most beautiful mechanical drawings. So they might want to be tight. They may not want to be loose. And that's totally fine. So these questions are just, you know, use them as a starting point, and then modify them to whatever you are doing and your personality. Which area is doing the most work? And what is pretending to do the work? Now, this is a great question. And I came up with these questions myself, or maybe I don't think this is from Oaxaca. I don't think these questions are from Oaxaca. I think mostly it's just me working and kind of adapting them to my personality. But this I find is a great question to ask when we are concerned about getting external validation. Like, oh, I want to paint a painting where everybody likes it and everybody compliments me and everybody says XYZ. And then this is a great question to say, like, what is pretending to do the work? What is the artifice? Because for me, like, I want to try to get rid of that part of it and just get to the bare bones of it. Like, what am I trying to convey, and how can I do that in a way that is real? If one element was removed, which would cause the most damage? So say if I had to remove one element from here, like how would it change the whole the whole piece? So like a good thing would be to say, I think, just looking at this, and I'm going to test it in a minute, if I had to take this piece out here, it would change the piece. Like, you know, let's see here. Do you see how now it doesn't look as interesting? This little piece does a lot of work. But also the text over here, which are two separate pieces. So maybe this entire piece here, I'm reading it as one piece. Now, if I had to take out that, this is still interesting because of this. But if I had to take this out, it's not as interesting anymore. So, you know, you would have to kind of know yourself and see what kind of questions you want to ask. Where does the eye want to rest, and where does it want to, like what is pulling the eye? You know, what is interesting that the eye keeps on coming back to, and then where are the resting places? So obviously these are the resting places because there's nothing much going on. And for me, my eye keeps on coming back to this area over here. What am I hiding? So in this piece, I don't know what I'm hiding. Actually, I haven't really explored that particular question, but I would say, like, what am I hiding in this piece? I think I'm hiding the fact that I don't know where it may want to go, where it is going. I don't know if it wants to be a portrait, a still life, an abstract, a landscape. And I think it's hiding the fact that I don't know what I'm doing, but I look at that as a good thing. I look at the fact that I don't know where it's going. I tend to look at that as a good thing. Maybe when I wrote these questions down, I didn't look at that as a good thing. Because this is like from, you know, I don't know, 8-9 years ago type of thing. But like, what am I hiding? I don't know. I'd have to think about this a little bit more. But do you see how these questions can just be entry points, especially with art journaling, etc.? Now, if you guys want me to make a part 2, I will make a part 2, because if I have more questions, especially as they relate to art journaling, and I think they're important questions, they have helped me a lot. It has strengthened my visual language, and it has helped my art transform in the ways it needed to, but also stay the same in the ways that it has needed to. So anyways, you guys, I hope that this has been helpful. I appreciate any and all questions. They really help me to make more videos and to see where the interest lies. So if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. And I hope that this video has been interesting, inspiring, and helpful. See you in my next video. Bye.